What's up, guys? We're back once again to r/malicious compliance. If you're new around here, just know we do have a bonus at the end, and to be honest, it was the most fun bonus I've ever done. So definitely look forward to that, and I'll see you in a bit. Boss tells deaf girl to listen to transcribe audio recordings. Okay, no problem. I used to work for a telecom company that is one of the major wireless providers in the USA. My position was strictly technical, working in the Network Operations Center, or NOC for short. I had no interaction with customers, and any face-to-face interaction with coworkers or management was done with the help of my interpreter, who I've known for years at this point. Cast: me, interpreter, Sarah, B, boss, C, coworker. Sarah and I arrived around 8:45. As usual, I get clocked in, and Sarah clocks in on her laptop. I get an email from B to the tone of, "Come to my office please when you get the chance." Sarah and I head to his office, where the following takes place. B: glad you're here. Here's a flash drive with some recordings on it. I need you to listen to those and transcribe them into the CRM under X directory. Sarah and I gave each other an odd look. Me: Sir, I'm deaf. Sarah is here because I cannot hear, and need her to tell me what you say. B: Yeah, so? Me: So I can't listen to anything without subtitles? B: Well, have Sarah listen, then tell you what it says and you type it. That's what we pay her for, right? This sounds like a logical solution, but goes against Sarah's contract. Me: Well, no. It's not her job to do my job for me. Very specifically, it states she is not to do any part of any assigned task for me. This would fall under doing an assigned task for me. B: Well, it needs to be done, so figure it out. Me: Okay, well, I'll ask C to do it then. Is that okay? B: No, I asked you to do it. Cue malicious compliance. Me: Yes, sir. Sarah and I leave the office, and she asks me how I plan on doing what he asked. Sarah: How are you gonna pull this off? Me, with a smirk: Just watch. I get back to my desk and start up Google Voice. I plug the microphone in and a speaker and start playing the audio recording into the microphone, and it starts typing what it heard. The transcript was indecipherable. After about 2 minutes, C walks in and asks what the hell is going on. C: What the hell? What is this? Me: It's an audio recording. B asked me to transcribe. He said figure it out. So that's what I'm doing. C, if you're out there, please write up your pro revenge on this. C: Oh, okay. C leaves. Later, we found out he went to HR. I don't know all the details, and Sarah couldn't tell me what was really being said, since it was against her contract. And it's super serious, and she's super professional. I finish and upload it to X directory, and email him it was done. B, via email: C, I knew you could figure it out. Thanks. 20 minutes later, B comes rushing out to my desk, demanding to know what I did. B: Do you think you're funny? This is complete gibberish. Referring to Google Voice's translation. Me: I did my best using the tools provided, and the restrictions placed on me in regards to completing the task. B: Forget it. He storms off. He was right. It was complete gibberish. There were barely any words in there, let alone anything resembling English. Sarah: Are you gonna get in trouble? Me: For a deaf person transcribing an audio recording all on my own, I think I did better than expected by any reasonable person. She smirked and patted me on the shoulder. If you guys want to know what happened or any details, let me know and I'll try to find out. I still talk to Sarah, so I might be able to get some more details from her. Coworker: If you're out there, the password is yellow5shrinks, if you weren't sure if this was me or not. Awesome old lady on the train. This happened quite some years ago, when I had dizzy spells and would randomly pass out frequently, still undiagnosed due to crappy doctor, but went away on its own. Due to these dizzy spells, I was very hesitant to give up my seat on trains/buses, as I was afraid I'd fall and hit someone/something. I would still stand up if someone really looked like they needed it and ask politely, but I just didn't offer. One day, I was getting on the train, and an old lady carrying a cane wanted to board too. A gentleman offered her help. Man, do you need help, ma'am? Lady, no thank you. I don't even need this cane. Swings it around. But my husband insists I use it just in case. She then hops on the train. I end up in the same area as the old lady, in 2 of the very few open seats. After a few stops, a Karen enters. She had the haircut, the clothes, and the attitude. By now, all the seats are filled, and there are already people standing around due to the lack of seats. Karen pushes through a few people, looks around, and loudly exclaims to no one in particular, "Will nobody offer a lady their seat?" Nobody responds. She then goes around complaining to a few random people sitting down that she needs to sit because she's been standing for over an hour. Oh, the horror. Try working in retail and just needs to put her feet up. On a full train? Okay. One person gets fed up and gives her his seat, right across the old lady from before. The Karen now has a seat, but still no place to put her feet up. She complains to the person next to her and to the old lady that these trains are always so cramped, and it would be good if people who didn't need seats just gave them up. The awesome old lady took this as her cue, made a point of standing up really slowly and carefully, grabbing her cane and clutching it tightly, and said, "You can have my seat. Your feet probably need it more." Then she walks away very slowly, leaning heavily on her cane, and asking people to please step aside so she could fit through. Karen got many angry glares at this point, and she called out to the old lady, "You can just keep sitting here. I don't need it that badly." And the old lady replied, "You just said that you really needed it, so take it," and walked to the next cabin. Karen couldn't see her anymore at this point, but from my seat, I could see the old lady stand up straight and pick up the cane, swinging it around. I don't think many people saw it, because everyone continued to glare at Karen until she got off at the next stop. The old lady just really wanted to teach Karen a lesson by complying and acting her age, making Karen look like a witch. She has been my hero ever since. My manager accused me of theft. He got fired. This is a long one. Way back in the early 2000s, I worked at Blockbuster Videos in the UK. It wasn't my first job, but I was still in high school when I started, so it was near as, damn it. I had a pretty good working relationship with my boss, and quickly moved up the ranks to one of the deputy managers. I was the person the manager would call to cover shifts, and honestly, unless I had a really good reason, I always did the extra because I actually really liked the job. I'm a film nerd, so I love spending my working days talking to customers about movies. It also didn't hurt that I could rent any movie anytime for free. So this one particular Saturday, we were slammed. 3 staff members called in sick. We had a big new release movie that week, and we had a big computer game release on the Friday too, so it was manic. Halfway through my shift, a guy comes in and says he bought a game the week before from the store and he wanted a refund. He said I'd served him, but hadn't given him a receipt. Now, I did remember serving the guy, but I couldn't remember what he bought. And frankly, even though it's automatic to give receipts, I couldn't guarantee I had. The problem was, that specific game was the only copy we apparently had. Our inventory said it was in the store, but this guy had it, so somehow it had left the store without being processed. Either it had been stolen by this guy, it was some kind of error on my part, or I'd actually given it to him and pocketed the money. To be clear, these are options from an objective point of view. I never stole from that job, so I definitely didn't do the last. My manager was working with me, so he refunded the guy, took the game back, and then, for the rest of the shift, didn't speak to me once. As we closed the store that night, the manager took me into the office and proceeded to accuse me of stealing, without evidence. He said I had stole that game and pocketed the money. I obviously denied the claim. Things got heated, and it ended with him telling me to hand in my notice. 2 weeks. So I did. I was heartbroken because I loved the job and I knew I was innocent. I may have given it by accident, but I would never knowingly steal. So, 2 weeks later, my notice is up, and on my last shift, coincidentally, the area manager comes in. Now, I had quite a good relationship with the AM. I had been hired by them originally, and it was frequently noted by them that I always seemed to be on shift when they came in. They asked me how I was, and I said I was sad that I was leaving. They didn't know this, so asked why. I explained the situation, and they immediately went to the office. Half an hour later, I got a call to go to the office. The AM was sat with the CCTV footage from the day the man said he bought the game. In the video, it showed me serving him. Then, as he left, he had a chat with the store manager. No sound on the CCTV footage, but they were clearly chatting. The manager was working in the new inventory, ready to put it out on the shelf. For some reason, the manager turned his back on the customer for a few moments, and, as plain as day, the customer reached over the counter and grabbed something, and left. The AM assumed this was the game. Well, the manager was called in. He was first asked why I had given in my notice, when the accusation against me deserved a meeting with the AM, and my immediate dismissal if I was guilty. The manager just stuttered something about not wanting to make a big deal. Then the AM asked the manager to explain what happened in the CCTV footage after showing it. The manager just sat quietly. Well, anyway, the AM asked me at this point to rescind my notice, which I did, though I candidly asked for a few days extra paid holiday because I felt embarrassed by the theft accusation, and the AM agreed. The AM then said that they would be taking the month's worth of CCTV footage to have it looked over because this act of negligence by the manager was a cause for concern. The blood ran from the manager's face at this point, but nothing further was said. I finished my shift and walked out with the AM to enjoy my week off. 3 days later, I got a phone call from the AM asking if I could meet him at the store that day. I obliged. When I arrived, the AM took me to the office and told me that there had been a situation. During the CCTV checks, it had become apparent that the manager had been using the store for other reasons. One, a number of nights over the course of the month. He'd closed the store, then after the staff had gone, he invited people in. One night, he held a poker game in the staff room. Later, we found out he'd been using the money from the tills to cover his losses, and putting through refund notices to cover it. And on 3 other occasions, he was seen bringing in women to have sex with in his office. Now, the women were known prostitutes in the area. The manager was also married. Well, the manager was automatically suspended while there was an investigation, and the reason I was brought in was to be asked to run the store in his absence. After the investigation was complete, it turned out the manager had been giving thousands of pounds of refunds per month and falsifying who gave the refunds, so it didn't look suspicious. This had gone on for years in multiple stores that he worked in. So, because he accused me of something I didn't do, he lost his job and his marriage. His wife obviously wasn't impressed by the prostitutes, and I got a promotion with a lovely raise. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap it up for the stories. If you like what you heard, give these guys some love. Go down to the description below, go to their post and give them an upvote. Anyways, I think it's time to join my people. So let's go over to the bonus with r/I'm very smart. You're American. By default, I have a far superior history knowledge than you. That and the fact that you're known for having a notoriously dumb population. I don't need your stupid history. I got guns and freedom. That's all I need in my life. Cue Bald Eagle. The one thing that will always piss me off about Game of Thrones being mainstream is there are too many people aren't intelligent enough to comprehend the show. It's honestly annoying. You should have an IQ test in order to watch it. Okay, Mr. Smarty Pants. Well, if you don't mind, I'm gonna slip in this little sentence correction here. You know, you're probably too smart and busy to type up a correct tweet, but I'll help you out, don't worry. Weird flex. I can pronounce medication names better than my pharmacist. Good morning, sir. Are you looking to pick up some Advil? Actually, it's pronounced Advil, but nice try. All dogs are in the top 1% of goodest boys. Let's take the bottom 99% and put them in the top 1%. They already are. As an intellectual, this makes me cringe. It's a mathematical impossibility, and I could prove it, but you probably wouldn't understand. I was trying to think of a witty comeback, but I couldn't think of anything, so shut up, doo-doo head. Got him. I'm a member of a secret society for gifted individuals. Sorry, invite only, and I'm unable to discuss any details. As part of the admissions process, members take an IQ test. After being grilled on my philosophical stances for over 3 hours by a team of 12 executive intellectuals, and being free of any inconsistencies and absent of logical fallacies, they proceeded to hand me the IQ test pamphlet. I smile, holding it for a moment before giving it back. Why are you giving up now? You're the most promising candidate we've ever seen. That is precisely the problem. You see, IQ tests are not capable of measuring intelligence beyond the limits of current humans the test has encountered so far. To try to capture my abilities in a mere IQ score is a foolish effort. I slid the papers back on their desks, and a silence fell over the group. One by one, they stood up and began clapping. Later that evening, their chief intelligence officer stepped down from the organization's highest post. He said, "Please, we need you to lead our society from now on." I humbly accepted this honor and have led this organization ever since. Didn't you take an IQ test in 6th grade and get 104? Shut up, Billy. It was 105. Why do you gotta ruin everything? Alright guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Got a lot more cringy content where that came from. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.